Yeah, everywhere connected. I will introduce you first. Okay. So you have to stay behind. Hello, my people. How are you doing? My name is Chinedu Anichi, your one and only celebrity CSO, and this is Chinedu Anichi TV, streaming live from United States of America. And today is Saturday, and Saturday we'll have a program that everybody knows about. Today we have Otobo Nsoka. Otobo Nsoka is the day that we showcase our best. All our best in Nsoka. Today is the day we showcase our best. And today, as it happened, we have one of our best from Nsoka. And we have Cajethan Ezeora. Cajethan Ezeora is a CEO, a founder of a non-governmental organization that have been helping people realign themselves to their destinies when they are feeling lost. An instrument of reconciliation with young people, between young people and their destinies. So he will talk about that when he comes on board. He's also an author, especially there's a book he just authored now that will be launching in a few days' time. And the name of the book is Life After School. It is a life experience, experiencing how he used himself as an example and some other people that he has encountered. So today we'll be having Cajethan Ezeora in this Chinedu Anichi TV show, The African Voice in Diaspora. But ka anyị na-eje unu cheta na nta bụ Nsụka Nsụka dịka mụ na amụrụ mmadụ ekelechere unu dejenu bụ na anọ na ndị Nsụka eka mehelu na eka nkọrịnwa Nsụka sịrị hegide na-enu gị eka hegide na-enu gị eka so deja mehelu na eka ndị Nsụka dịka mụ na bụ na anọ na ezechite oke kwa anyị nege tinye gị aka n'ihe na-eme chi aja chi wọrọrọ ọjụ tara oweri gbugbulue na anyị ga-ekelechi gị ezechite oke abịa ma na uriri nwata nwochi si na ya agbakọsọ ọmụnyi zọfue ngene sizadụ nwere kparịkpa gbanwere mụnyi ndị be anyị dejenu mgbe nọ na emegebe onye sika ezechite oke abịa ma were ọkwụrụ magachi na ọkwa na-engwu ọchọmụberube na ọ bụghị anyị dejenu. Let me use this opportunity and invite anyị jego ya so oyibo nta maka akwụkwọ ka na launch ma edere gị nya bụ akwụkwọ na Nsụka ịghọtago so edere n'oyibo so na ọ bụ ya njikọ eme nta bụ atị n'oti atị na nwankwọ ma saa bụrụ na ọ na-aga aga. So let me use this opportunity and privilege to invite this scholar, this philanthropist, this man who is living a sacrificial life as a young man, indifferent to pleasure for the sake of making the species of humanity among youths survive. And his name is Cajethan Ezeora. Cajethan.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. So, Cajethan, you are welcome to Chinedu Anichi TV. And you are here today.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Can you introduce yourself formally to our audience?
Okay. I'm Cajethan Ezeora by name. I'm the founder and director of Care of the Saint Foundation, a non-governmental, non-profit organization that has been existing for about 20 years, 6 months now, and that caters for unemployed and underserved youth in society. We try to see that we move them from the level of nothingness to something, because we have lost a lot of young people. So we are more concerned, instead of losing more young people to social vices, we desired and has always been implementing projects that can keep these young people skilled up enough and focused enough to stay off crime and social vices. That's our major concern.
Wow, thank you. Wonderfully. Before I go on, let me greet my big auntie. Well, an actress, philanthropist, an experienced social media personality who is not afraid of camera. When they say somebody is blended with camera, that means at any point in time he can deliver before the camera. I have Tambari Inata Fowler from United States of America, originally in Nigeria, but lives in United States and years, not the type of our living, years and years. Okay, She is live here. Sister Tambari, you are welcome. Eze Emmanuel Ejike, you are welcome. Please, as you are coming, can you share this live show in your page or share it in your WhatsApp or share it everywhere for others to connect to us? For those of you who are watching on Instagram, you're welcome. Cajethan is here already. Yeah. And let me check on Instagram. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Elvis, you are already here. Makeup by Obis Glam. Thank you. Chris Alaribe. Thank you. Former 99. Ify, how are you doing? Steva. So all of you that are watching on Instagram, thank you for having time to watch. Those of you on the YouTube, how are you doing, my YouTube people? And those on LinkedIn and Twitter, how are you doing? And those of you on Facebook, welcome. Facebook is your base. Thank you. So, Mr. Cajethan, you are here today on Chinedu Anichi TV. What comes to your mind?
Anyway, I'm an open-minded person when it comes to real life issues. When actually I had this invite to be on your show, I felt so good, and I felt that it was good that we tell our stories ourselves. That a lot of people in diaspora and even in the country have to hear our story. That it was really, really the right time for people to hear our story. Because for many years, a lot of things has happened. We have carried this for the past 20 years, 6 months. And we have done this majorly from our own efforts, individual efforts, not by support by any government, any governmental parastatals, or companies as the case, or even grants from anywhere. So these I've done majorly, from my pocket and connection and volunteers, volunteerism from a lot of other professionals has kept the organization alive till date. So that's why I felt this is a very great opportunity for us to share the code story and invite a lot of other people out there to join us in this force so that we'll be able to do a lot of projects. Because we have been praying for a particular project we've been working on for many years. We have had the architectural design layout plan for that project. That's a site, a center, that's the Youth Transformational Center. We had that plan ready since March 2009, and we have not implemented it. You can imagine how I go to bed every night knowing that we have an architectural design plan that we have not executed for over 14 years. It was already designed. All because you have always prayed for a better season, for a better, opportunity, and they never came by. All you do every time is to struggle, to just keep working and making sure that you are giving your little best, that we are giving our little best, because we believe that we will have the necessary opportunity and we have the necessary funding. We will surely achieve that massive project and make sure that not just in a particular community, our dream is to replicate this youth transformational center within the communities, various communities in Nigeria, because it's solely based on organic agribusiness that will make sure there's enough food to go around for every Nigerian at affordable prices, enough healthy organic food to go around. And secondly, it will help to create jobs. I mean, create a lot of jobs for our unemployed and underserved youth. So that's exactly why I felt good when this opportunity to talk on your show came, Chinedu. I really felt and thank God and said, this is a great opportunity to talk to people and explain and tell them the story, how it all began and how we got here. Thank you.
Wow, that's wonderful, my brother. Okay, that's good. Eze Emmanuel Ejike, how are you? Omega King. I know you, regular Omega King is watching from Oba in Anambra State. And we'll have Eze Emmanuel Ejike. Eze Emmanuel Ejike, where are you watching from? So please just let me know where you're watching from. Cajethan.
Yes.
The last time I had Daddy Shoki in this show, we had experience, we exchanged, or we tried to refer, or we had a flashback of our experience in Ajegule growing up. I remember in this very, very show that the jockey was talking about picking iron in dustbin. I have seen Osime in a Osime, the great footballer, and in a show where he said he sold pure water in Lagos. So people have done one or two things that serves as the story that became their glory. Do you have anything like that growing up to share?
Um, I guess we all have a similar roots, as Nigerians. Growing up wasn't that easy for someone like me because as a tender age of 13, I lost my dad. And to me, he was my mentor and my everything. So I never really envisaged that I would lose my dad so early in life. So when he passed on, I kept crying. I continued crying. I felt I would definitely see him back one day again. But that aside, I decided to, indulge or throw myself into a lot of things, as in the dreams that I ever had as a child. Growing up as a child, I've always loved nature. So looking at nature each time, even before my daddy passed on, I was able to convince him to, help me start up a poultry project. My first encounter with anything agriculture was my parents. They took me to the farm and taught me how to plant crops and things. That was 1983, 1984. I was like 6, 7 years of age. And then he passed on in 1990, but sometime in 1989, I convinced him enough to help me, set up a poultry farm for me. How did I do that? I was doing it. First of all, they distracted me by setting up something small, a small provision shop somehow in front of the compound because I grew up part of my years in Enugu City, so and we're staying at New Layout in any street in New Layout. So I had to be selling those provisions and being a little child who is always very cheerful and playful. So even some of the neighbors, I think, took advantage of that. So they usually come for credit. I would not write them down and I will give them credit. And over time, that small provision shop went under with nothing to show for it. So that got my parents very angry. I mean, this was their hard ending gone under the carpet. And my dad, for instance, said, no way, he's not going to invest in any of my dreams again. Even if I like, I should jump down from anywhere. So I started talking about bets, how I'll do this about bets. And my daddy could not believe it. He said, the young man you just stopped the other day is now talking about a different thing again. I continued, even when visitors will come, I'll be telling them, relatives or friends or whoever, I'll be sharing experience of how I would train birds to the extent that nobody in the world has ever done that. And my daddy decided to try it. I never knew he was paying attention to all those stories until one day he took me, he said, enter this car. I entered this 504 car, saloon car, and he took me to New Market in Enugu. And when he took me to the poultry where they sell fowls and ducks and everything, I was more involved in seeing so many animals at the same time. So I was engrossed, and captivated by this site that I didn't even notice when he bought 5 broilers and the feed. All he did was to nudge me with the carton and said, "You see, there are 5 birds inside this carton. God help you, let one of them die, and I will skin you alive." So that was the great challenge he gave to me. And I tell you, Chinedu, I took those 5 birds home and the story never became the same. That's how I began my poultry project ever since 1989. I still raise birds till today as we speak. So the truth is, yes, I lost him, but I had to keep on with my dream, making sure that I do not rest my dream. Though he gone to the land beyond, but I did not stop there. So everything I've ever wanted to do was to serve, that whatever I've learned, I want to give it to the next person beside me. I want people around me to, especially the younger generation, to be able to make informed decisions. Because I was very, very unemployed when even the NGO Care of the Strange Foundation, was formed. I was just disturbed. I could imagine my own situation not having a job for over a year after youth service. I graduated from university actually March of 2001. So by 2002, January to December 17 of that 2002, I was on National Youth Service Program, NYSC, at Rivers State, Port Harcourt. And after that project, afterwards, I didn't have any job throughout 2003. And until 2004, when I now came back to Lagos because my brother felt that Lagos had more opportunities than Port Harcourt or any other state in the country. And I had to stay together with them. And then the job search continued. And it wasn't easy. So it was sometime in April of that year, while we were in the church having a conversation, I was part of a committee, a committee assigned to produce a bulletin, a magazine actually that will be used for a particular program that it was dated for the parish between May 22nd to May 31st of the month. And while we're discussing on one of the days as we were planning, there were three of us, myself and an engineer named James, and another younger girl who was an undergraduate then named Linda. So while we were discussing this, issues came up, and before you know it, we delved into the impact of social vices on young people. And I felt so moved because I've always been indoor, volunteered myself for organizations within even my secondary school age. I felt that there should be a lot, and that I should actually be so involved in helping out instead of just standing by the side and complaining. And to be honest with you, that was how I moved. And I continued with them. We shared this conversation, and I thought they were with me in the same thought, maybe to take action afterwards. But I guess they did not understand that what we shared that day in the church for me was a beginning as an assignment for me to become more responsible for young people. But I guess they dropped theirs as they were going home. But I took everything, and right from that day, all the money I could get, in fact, I was asking my other brother, whatever they could spare, I'll spend them at cyber cafes, going there to browse. I was looking at where the world was focused on. And at that particular point in time, as of 2004, it was the rampage of HIV and AIDS in the world. So there was much more focus on the impact of HIV and AIDS, especially concerning the burden it has given to the women and the children and even the youths. So I focused especially on these three categories. The youth, yes, as my focus, but also looking at the women and children because they're also part of the demographics. So at the end of the day, I found out that after going through several case studies around the world, that see, if we don't do something, we're going to lose a lot of young people. So after doing this within some 1, 2, 3 months, I decided it was time for action. So I took that action by talking to some members in the church. I first went to the president of Catholic Youth Organization of Nigeria, Sion, in my parish. And I spoke to him. I said, Chris, there's a program I want to sell to your young people. It's important to talk about the impact of HIV and AIDS before it wipes away our generation. And he listened to me with his co-executives. At the end of the day, we had to organize a program to also train these young people and instill in their heads the need of abstinence. Because yes, they say ABC, but the emphasis was more on the C, that sharing of condoms, and which I know that there's no way you share condoms without promoting promiscuity among the young people, because they are going to try out what you are giving to them for free. So we had to use the other tool, which is the A, and using it as the A, meaning to teach them the skills that will help them to even avoid the occasions, and then be useful or more focused on something that will be more impactful in their lifetime, instead of just going on a trial spree with a condom. And that was exactly what we started. By the time we're done with Sion, I moved to the next level. I talked to the Christian mothers in my parish and I said, okay, the mothers, please, can you listen to me? Your daughters are also involved in this, but I need you to engage your daughters and even your boys at home. And they gave me the opportunity, several opportunities, where they had their meetings and conferences. They invited me as guest, which I took opportunity of that. I go and I also talk to them on how to take care of these young people when they bring up their youthful exuberance and everything, and be able to still make sure they stay focused on their dreams instead of allowing HIV, the spread of HIV and AIDS to ravage their families. And that was how the campaign began. So in all of this, by the time we started with HIV and AIDS, I moved into the leadership part and entrepreneurial part, because one thing is clear: there's no way you tell someone to abstain when he or she is still idle, doing nothing. Yes, I was very, very unemployed, like I said, but I must be able to tell you that I maybe had the opportunity because it was just grace. It was just God's grace that I stayed away from crime or social vices myself. But I was looking at a lot of people who were already abusing drugs at a very tender age, already in cultism. I mean, a lot of issues around young people. And I was, part of some of the people training our facilitators for such trainings. And I felt that these young people deserve more because I believe in the potential of every young Nigerian. I'm telling you, every young Nigerian is so talented. So I don't want us to keep wasting them, or putting them in, the many of them going to jail for nothing. So that's why I took up this job, and I have been doing it wholeheartedly and so happily since. So I took the campaign to other young unemployed people like myself, and I convinced them. I said, instead of staying at home every day and complaining about how you have not been able to get a job, why don't you join me? Let's have this, and let's be able to do something for ourselves and improve ourselves, because the more we get empowered ourselves, the more we can empower other young people like ourselves. And by doing that, we will be changing the nation one small portion at a time, instead of just cowering in a corner and keeping up with complaints on how we have a failed state or we have all been failed by the government. So that's exactly how this, force, and this NGO, Care of the Saint Foundation, began. It came out of necessity and out of deep passion to serve the young people or the entire society, but focusing on the young people, especially between the ages of 17 and 30. Though, within the program, we still incorporate every other people, but they are more of my focus because at that particular age bracket, they are so energetic and adventurous and possess a lot of opportunities that they may not even understand or even know until they let it pass them by. So that's exactly how the code story began and what has kept me on pushing everly since then.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations, my brother, because sometimes why we ask people for this kind of explanation is that so that people will not think that you just fell down from somewhere and started or and became founder and director or CEO of a non-governmental organization. Do you understand? So it is important that we give a background story of also how your background look like, so that nobody will think that you were born with silver spoon and that's the reason for all this. So I would like to ask you a question. As the CEO of Care of Estranged Foundation, can you share some success stories your organization have achieved or their impact in the community where you are?
Thank you, Chinedu, for that question. We have had several impacts over the years, but I'll try to take them one by one based on the projects that we have indulged in over the years. Like I told you, we'll make sure that we dive into the leadership training aspect by bringing in leaders from outside to help inculcate leadership skills in most of us. So be able to also do same to a lot of young people who are drawing out and trying to keep focused, on their dreams, as well as doing something good for the nation, as in towards nation building. So the truth is, while doing that, we were able to meet a lot of them, a lot of young people who came from different backgrounds as well, who were also struggling to remain focused. So what we now did, or what I decided to do, was also find a very good platform where these young people can flourish. So one of the projects we started was entrepreneurial skills. We started with leadership conference on entrepreneurship, inviting successful entrepreneurs who came into the programs by sharing their own life stories as well. How they started, their difficult parts, how they also coped at those days, of startup, that they have to stay the course, because I mean, you can't start up a business the first day and you just start reaping. You don't just plant now and
One
start
minute,
reaping.
1 minute, 1 minute. Our sister in US, I told you about, she just wrote something. Look at the screen.
Yes.
He said, how can someone support your organization?
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Fowler, for Tambari Fowler, for the question. To be honest with you, we are open for collaboration. and for sponsorship or donations. Because, like I told you, we have a layout plan of a youth transformational center we hope to build. And we have a dedicated account for this project. And we hope to be very, very transparent and accountable for every single kobo. That was what led me to the launching of my books. I actually had two books in my name because over time, when we meet people or write organizations and they turn us down, they won't support us financially and they will not also support us materially. And we almost got frustrated. But I kept on hoping on God and also in believing that the young professionals who over time have been volunteering for the organization have also been very steady and not deserted us yet. So that made me to keep on looking for ways out. And that led me to the publication of my books. The first one was Servant Leadership Footprints that I published and launched in 2013 as a fundraising tool for the organization. Because I noticed that whenever you go to people to ask for a dime, they also ask you, what is in it for me? So because of that question, I decided to publish a book, which I will show you. This is my first book, like Servant Leadership Footprints. Okay, real stories of people who change the world around them, by service, as in rendering services to people. That was my first book, and I launched and I dedicated this book. I gave it to Nigeria at 53 years of age. I launched this book 1st October 2013, and the venue was Institute of Management Hall at Idowu Taylor in Lagos. These facts are verifiable. And I did that because I wanted us to sustain the organization. I never wanted the organization to die. And that was the first book that I launched, that even though it has my name on it, every single kobo raised from it belongs to the organization. Apart from the money that I always keep aside, maybe to republish the book again, to have wider reach, so that at least can get more returns on the books. That's exactly what has happened. But the second book that we're also going to talk about today, Life After School, lessons from lessons from the good, the bad, and the unemployed. This one actually had a special touch. Why? Just sometime last year, around this time last year, I was deep in thought. I said, just next year, quote, will turn 20 years. And there's nothing. Nobody will hear our story and will remain the way we are. And that made me to just go deep down inside. And I told myself, we need to have or tell our stories ourselves. We need to really have something to show. And I looked around too. Most of the young people, even some of them that were also helping and training over these periods, are now also looking at the bandwagon of the day, which is the get rich quick syndrome that has captivated a lot of young people within the Nigerian society. They want to start today and be rich tomorrow, driving the biggest cars or owning the biggest houses. And that's not how to climb. You start climbing, a child, when he or she is born, does not start eating solid food or start climbing houses. No, you start first of all by accepting that you are still a child, and then everyone around you will take care of you at that tender age and nurture you until you could crawl, then you could walk, then you could run, then you start moving. And the truth is that that's exactly how life has been. So I decided to put all my experiences and other young volunteers that worked with me, and even my roommates, even a lot of students we met in school, and a lot of professionals I met out there after school, and even in the working sector as a staff in some organizations that I worked for afterwards, and even some of the businesses that I registered afterwards, I decided to put this book together so that the whole world could hear our story. That life after school is not just a book. Yes, you may see this book now and say, yeah, life after school, this is all, just buy the book or donate, to help the organization for the book. No, life after school actually began 5 years ago. It's amazing to hear, right? Life after school as a project we run inside the University of Nigeria and Nsukka is more than 5 years, 8 months old. I can tell you the origin of it. Now, sometime in February 2019, as a young lecturer, that started a job like over a year in UNN, University of Nigeria and Nsukka. I was, some students after my lecture followed me in the final year class. They followed me after the class, and the three of them, one was, the lead person was called Happiness, the assistant class rep. And she followed me and said, please, sir. I said, what is it, my student? What's bothering you? He said, please, that they need my help. I said, anything for you, I'll help you. And she now said, that, please, sir, I should not be worried. I should not be angry. I said, no, I'll never get angry with young people. I love to listen to them. I want to be accessible to young people. I want to share my experiences with them. So they were now intrigued enough to open up and share with me. And they now said that, see, ever since their second year, they've been bothered on how they will cope with life when they are done with studies in school, how they will join the unemployment rate out there and never getting jobs like many of their cousins or relations have been for many donkey years, and how that can kill all their morals and dreams. And I asked them, is that all that is bothering you? He said, yes. I said, you know what? Your slides for that program has been prepared and ready since October of the previous year. The three of them looked at me. They were like, are you serious? I said, yes. I actually prepared it truly. It was ready since October. Why? I've spoken to the Sion members in my own parish in Nsukka for them to be ready for the program. But they turned me down several times. They thought I was going to collect money. I told them it's a free program just to prepare you for life after school. Many of them turned me down. So when the students approached me, I told them, you know what? Prepare a classroom is a non-academic course. I had to take authorities from my senior colleagues and said, please, I will need to have this time non-academic course. I'll do all my work, but this is a time to just have access to these young people. Any final year student at all, come and join the class. It has been running in UNN among several faculties and departments as we speak for more than 5 years, 8 months. So life after school is an ongoing project. And it's a project that I hope will even outlive many of us, that will leave sustainable legacies in this country, that a lot of young people will wake up even without dreaming at all. We'll teach them how to dream, and we'll make them understand that we have only our own hands and we have our dreams in our hands, that we need to build and make sure we leave our footprints in the sands of time. We need to make sure that's not we have to bring them back and reorientate their minds towards nation building. Because Nigeria is a nation and that needs a lot of young people to sacrifice, build and build it for the future of our children. So that's exactly why these books. So please, Fowler, we are very, very open to people's support and we'll be glad to give you our various accounts so that in case you want to support or you can even buy as several books as possible, we will also be happy because that will help us raise enough funds to build this project. Once one youth transformation center is built in any community, it becomes like a spread of wildfire. Because it's a sustainable project on organic agribusiness, we hope to replicate this project in various communities in this country and even beyond this country. We are very, very enthusiastic. We want to make sure our young people do not waste their lives chasing quick money that will not last and thereby dying quick deaths that they don't envisage. So we want to make sure we retain the workforce and we retain a healthy nation, as the case may be.
Yeah, thank you. That is so intelligent of you. And I just told you about who Tambari Fowler is, and she is also a media person. She's experienced and exposed in different dimensions, originally from Nigeria, but based in the United States for years. So I know that she heard you, and if she needs to contact with you, she can always get to me that. So, welcome. You sounded very articulate and very pragmatic. It shows that you have been involved. Um, you have been completely into this. Because if you see when somebody is talking from theoretical point of view, it's a different thing when somebody is talking from a circumstance of a condition of total involvement. So we appreciate you, my brother. And going on, I would like to ask you something else about how you can encourage Nigerians, like the young people, because what you are doing now is not just it's just within a community as a part of Nigeria. So, what's your advice to young people that just left school, unemployed, unattended to. Nobody even cares they are existing. Nigeria don't even have data of people who are unemployed. So what's your message to them?
Thank you, Chinedu, for that question. My message to them, and which we have always been talking to them, like most of them I mentor around here and coach over time. The first thing I always do is to make sure that I kind of indulge them and I advise them. I said, please, no matter what it is, do not be idle. Make sure you find any place to learn a skill, no matter what it is. You can go into, because we have a small center that we have in a pilot center we have in a UNN, where we train young people, even the students, because you notice that over time, some of them, even when there are no lectures, they while away that time gossiping or indulging in other, illegal things online. So we say, why would we allow these students to also waste in school? So we set up a small center, where, call Center for Learning and Service, where if assuming a student have a break, a 1 hour break in between lectures, the student can run to the center if he or she is, have come to us to register, can come to the center and learn a skill or two. We have sewing, fashion and designing skills trained there. We have film and video production done there. We have people that train them on catering, even cooking, because some of them can barely even boil hot water. And we also have people that train them in organic, which is my own core area, organic agribusiness, even up to exporting. I do that and I train them. Even waste to wealth management, I do that and I train them on food safety, HSC, health safety and environment, mental, everything they need to know to grow around. And above all, we also erected a book club there where they can also read books and see or learn from other people's experiences and improve themselves. So that's exactly what we have created. So for every young person I meet, I always bring them closer to explore any of these options, especially at the pilot center that I tell you that we already have. So I bring them closer and I said, you know what, instead of wasting this your time, why don't you come in here? And I tell you, don't pay anything, just learn. They'll have people trained everywhere. They do, online and offline course. Just come, learn, and be empowered and do something meaningful with your life, even while you wait for, to get admission into the university, or even after even after graduating from university, find a skill, area where you feel you love. Go into that place and do. And we also encourage them, especially the graduates also, that I train in that life after school class. Even within life after school class, I train them on volunteerism, the need for them to volunteer for organizations, especially in the sector where they hope to work in the future. I challenged them. I said, you complain you don't have jobs or you are not employable. How can you be employable when you have not been adequately trained and prepared for the job you are seeking? I said, the best way to do is to have a hands-on training. And how do you get that in Nigeria? Is by volunteering for the organization in whatever sector you want to go in. By the time you come in and dedicate yourself, and over time they see that you are very good, I tell you, even if the company does not pick you, other companies will be willing to pick you, because now you have not just have a degree only, you now have the requisite skills to be employed within that sector that you want to work in. And that's exactly what I do. And I have testimonies. In fact, I will share one here with you. One of the final years that we started 4 years ago, Chris by name. Chris was a young person, just like every other final years that we had. But after teaching everything, life after school, and they graduated, Chris moved on. So I thought. It was a year and 6 months after, because we had a strike that lasted over 9 months in 2002. So he now came back to pick his call up by end of 2002. When he now met me and he said, I was just driving into school, to the department. Then I parked my car. He jumped at, ran to me and greeted me. I said, wow, Chris, it's been a long time. So what are you doing around here? He said that he has come to pick his call-up letter and his result, but there was a good story he wants to share with me. I said, Chris, I hope you even allow me to come to school. He said, please. He carried all my bags. He was really enthusiastic seeing me. When we got to the office, I said, okay, Chris, sit down. Let me hear it. Why would you be looking for me all of a sudden? He said, please, he wants to thank me for everything I've done for him. I said, Chris, I never did anything. You listen, because, you are teachable, because a lot of young people here are not teachable anymore. So I said, at least you listened. You became, you took something. That's why you are here to see me. He said, not only that, sir, that he has a testimony to share with me. That, I trained them on, the issue about volunteerism. Instead of staying idle at home, they should volunteer and learn skills. I said, yes, I did. He said that he tried it and it worked for him. That, he did his IT in a particular specialist hospital in Enugu. That he had to go back immediately after his degree exam. He had to go back to Enugu, and he went to the hospital straight to see the MD, of the hospital. And when he greeted the man and he told him that he has finished school, the man now started asking him questions. And he said, okay, you know what? That he wants to get really close to him and find out. And he asked Chris, would you be willing to work with us? Chris said, fantastic, that he is. He's so open that he even came to ask you for the opportunity to learn on the job, to volunteer for the organization. And you can imagine his thoughts and that of the MD rhymed. And that was how he started as a health maintenance officer, that's a HMO officer within the organization. And I tell you, few months down the line, as of the time Chris came to see me, he said, Mr. Cajethan, it's not just that as if just the HMO thing he told me that he started, that as he's talking to me just last week, they promoted him in the same organization to the rank of a quality assurance manager. Can I imagine? In less than 2 years, just because of the dedication and how he has been working. I say, Chris, just go and thank God that all I want you to do is to do for other people. Just share the news. Just do it. Just share the good. You don't owe me anything. That what I've done for you or what the organization has done for you is for you to do for other people, to have that sacrificial heart, to also sacrifice for the future generation to grow and to sustain itself. And that's exactly the message I left with him. And he was so glad to leave me. Until date, over time, he just call me once in a while to ask how I'm doing. And that's exactly most of them, when they see me or when they hear about me, they also call in to know how I'm doing. Some of them I'll speak are even abroad and everything, but I keep praying for them. And I keep praying that they stay focused. Because the truth is, whenever they deviate, I'm also pained. Because after investing so much time and energy in these young people and they deviate, who is the loser here? We're all the loser, because we're going to hand over to this generation in many years to come. And you can imagine handing over to people who are not ready to even realize that you are handing over responsibilities to them. Then we're going to be in deeper trouble by that time. So that's exactly what GOAT as an organization is trying to bridge that gap, to prepare these young people. A lot of them who are still focused, to make sure they stay focused and build their dreams. And there are ones who have also derailed, to find a way, areas that they love and things that they love, and draw them back to also engage them productively. So we can all work together to contribute our positively to nation building. That's what we have been doing. Thank you.
Okay, Fowler wrote something, and you can see it on the screen. He said, I'll get back to you through Mr. Chinedu. I'm impressed by your willingness to help the youth. Okay, thank you. So,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, Fowler. And she's a very supportive person and a very open person. So, my brother, you have done great. And I wanted to ask you, there is this tendency, especially where we come from. You are from Osoka, I am from Osoka. We're coming, both of us are coming from one place. Oboni Okoro. Thank you, big brother. Omekania from UK is here watching. So, what I want to tell you is this. We are from Osoka, both of us. We are known for one kind of humility. We are known for truthfulness, sincerity. We are known for accountability. That's what brought the concept of Igba boy. That's where both of us come from. And that's what attracted the name Wansoka. You understand me? So,
Yes.
and Wansoka has gone a long way to show, even though some people try to misinterpret it and give it a name that represents naivety or somebody being not very civilized or whatever. So, but that is just not exactly opposite what it is. So what I want to ask you is that this recent development of Ego Mbute, Ochasi Bute, Ocharosu Bute, and the traditional values of Nsukka people, which has always called for a man to serve, to sisie na enwe ogbenye narị n'ụkwụ ha na iju ehoja abụnye elu ishi gara ka eshekwe ọkụrụ ya n'ugwu ishi rie nye nka. So but in the Gen Zs, those people who try to subscribe to those cultural values are seen to be people who not matter away. So what's your own personal reaction on that? Because Nsukka is your immediate constituency as far as this organization is concerned. So what's your reaction to that?
Thank you, Chinedu, for your question. To be very honest with you, I feel really sad, that our family values and morals, have collapsed to this level. Because for many years, as a child and as a young person growing up, I remember vividly that it's very rare, that what the mantra used to be was Asia Fakego, Onyaya na Nwanne. I remember these two mantras very well as an Igbo man. That good name is better than silver and gold, and that we're all meant to go together. And that's exactly what has kept me going for many years. So seeing the change, the way people now prefer to go after the quick, get rich quick syndrome, not minding the consequences, even in society, on their fellow, brothers and sisters, has also made me, to also think inward. That's exactly why we designed a program in a way that we don't just train them. That's why the second book, we don't want to just train them and leave them. We want to make sure we give them the enabling tools. They will go out there, and also the seed capital to also set up their own farms or in any of the specialties in the skills they've learned to also become productive. I will share a story with you. Why we have this collapse of what is happening in our culture is because a lot of people also has been compromising. Let me give you an instance. Why would you, as a chief or Igwe of a particular community, invite someone who you do not know his or her primary occupation, or, to bestow a chieftaincy title on the person?
Source
You
of wealth.
already, yeah, you don't know his or her source of wealth. These are people right now as we speak, most of them or some of them are being looked for because they have billions or millions of naira, but they have been known or noticed to be with an unknown occupation. So you can imagine when the young people are seeing these people as role models, because there are no eligible or very few eligible and truthful role models out there. So what we are copying is this community has done it. So why don't we copy and do exactly the same? That's what's been affecting us. I will share this experience with you online. Some years back, while I was still in Lagos, I stumbled on two young people fighting. The both of them were in JS2 classes in secondary school. And after separating the fight, I said, but it's wrong for you to fight on the road because, one, cars can knock you down and crush both of you because you are doing something that's reckless. And two, it's not even good to see you fighting in your school uniform. So one of them said he's sorry, but that this guy provoked him enough to make him fight. I said, okay, now what would you like to be in future? He smiled and said he would like to be a lawyer. I said, wow, a lawyer that fights on the road? He said, no, not that one. That this guy, I said, okay, so what would you like to be in future? He said a lawyer. He wanted to read law. I said, fantastic. So why the drive for law? He said that he has always cherished seeing lawyers and judges, that this is exactly what he has always looked upon himself since as a child, that this is his desired career. And I felt in love with him. I thanked him. I said, you are focused, just stay on and please do not fight again on the road, no matter what. Just stay off the person or walk back home. Just ignore the person. He accepted my plea and went. Now, I now asked the second person who engaged him in a fight. I said, young man, come here. Why were you fighting on the road? He said, it's over. That guy was. I said, okay, no, don't worry. Now, what would you like to be in the future? What is your dream career? He said, man o' war. I looked at him. I said, man o' war. He said, man o' war. I said, man o' war is not a discipline. I tried to explain it in Yoruba because the Yoruba, but I explained it. I tried to even broken. No, man o' war no be war. Now, everything I said, the guy kept on repeating man o' war, man o' war. And maybe in that particular area, in Mushi area, there is this notorious man or war person who has been showing activity. And that's exactly the person that that young boy has taken as a role model. That gives him the impetus to fight anywhere. And obviously it means that he was the one that caused the fight, like the other person was saying. So we need to understand that these young people are also watching what the chiefs and the Igwes are doing. That's exactly why they will go and do the Egonfute, or Charachi Vute, or Chagachasi Vute. So at the end of the day, they know that when they come back, they will be celebrated as successful people. And of course, when you do this, that erodes a lot of cultural values and morals in society. So I want to use the opportunity to also implore these Igwes and people for them to realize that whatever you do, as Neuna tiny, that's exactly what has happened to us. We have over time neglected that these young people have been watching and think that they are in oblivion of what we are doing as adults. But right now, they have even outsmarted us because their generation is more about quick learning and quick doing. So they have outsmarted most of us and are ahead of us. Now we are trying to control them to come back. So for me, we should engage our young people productively. That's the ultimate answer. And build them up with the right set of skills. Why I wrote the book on servant leadership footprints was to train them on a leadership style that will prepare them to be servants first of all, not to desire to earn or lead first, but to learn how to serve first before they can lead. That's exactly what that book you are saying is. I use it as a tool in my leadership class wherever I am, even with professionals anywhere I've taught. I use servant leadership as the best form of leadership to prepare the class for them. Because once you can learn how to serve others first. So you don't focus on yourself or your friends or your any entitlements. You are rather focused on serving people first. That when you have served others first, every other thing can be second. So when you take yourself to be second, the other things can take charge. So you now put in your best to serving and thereby improving the nation, as in a lot of people to also join you and increase the nation building, as the case may be.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Cajethan. That is a mind-blowing one. And it's good that, but I just somehow worried that you were mentioning the Igwes and all these people, and I look at it that these people are just far. Well, my worries, my own personal worries are about parents. You know that your daughter is in school, and your daughter,
Yes.
you are doing nothing, and your daughter comes back during the holidays with iPhone 16. She has iPhone 16 as first year or second year student, and she has nothing doing. Okay? And you are proud. She will tell you, Mommy, okay, I want to start. Sometimes she comes back with what do you call the hair? The woman hair of 1.5 million, a woman hair of 800,000. When you have never, your bank account in the history of the family, the bank account has never seen such amount. And this is a student. And the mother is not saying anything. She's even going to church to give testimony. Okay, a young boy will come back with short knicker and socks, and come back and with Mercedes car. He just left like 2 months ago. He has nothing doing. He followed a friend to Lagos, and in the next 3 weeks or 1 month, he comes back with a Mercedes car and with all kinds of and start telling you, oh yeah, clear this place. We want to build a house, and start doing a lot of things in the house. And none of the parents will even say, oh, please, Chidubem or Chinedu, sit down, sit down. Let me ask you a question. What happened? So Igwes are even very far. Igwes can decide to say, we don't know, we're not their parents. But this one, we're talking about the people where they're coming from. And you see a lot of people like that goes to the church for Thanksgiving. And the Reverend Father or the pastor, and we continue to, continue to mention their name in the church in prayer repeatedly as the beneficiaries of the higher anointing. Because they are the people that will bring money during launching. And the Reverend Father don't want to don't care. The pastor don't care. The man of God don't care to know where this man's source of wealth is. So the church is guilty. The parents, they are guilty. Igwes, they are even far. So we're even talking about parents who should have the in fact, no matter who you are, even up to now, when I'm talking, sometimes if I get angry, I want to talk, my mom will warn me. Say, my mouth and your mouth should not go at this age. So no matter whoever you are, you get to your house, I can sit you down. If nobody will tell you the truth, your family can tell you the truth. But the kind of things we have now, nobody is interested. What they know is that your child will just come back with a dreadlock or plait his hair and come back with Mercedes car the next morning. We are going to church for Thanksgiving. You start inviting people and start dancing. You don't care. So, Cajethan, what do you think is the way out?
Thank you, Chinedu, for your question. In fact, you just tuned me on again. Because what I mentioned before, I wanted to just land on based on what you asked me before. But right now, let's focus on the family. Now, the family is the smallest unit of the society. It is the first school every child attends. It is the first church or mosque every child attends. So it's very, very, very necessary that the parents are involved in the education and upbringing of their children. Now, I must be honest with you, what have also caused the decadence you just mentioned in our society has always been that some people were not mature enough or prepared enough to be married before they got married. So when they got married, they now even, absconded some or kind of abrogated some of their responsibilities as parents to their kids. So whereby their kids go out, they call it tapping is a game. So you bring somebody's eraser home, no problems. Thief somebody's school fees back home, no problem. So they encourage them to bring in even things that are not their own. And that's where the problem begins. So one day the guy will now be okay. My parents support me and can also carry arms now to go on full-scale armed robbery attack. And that's exactly how it begins. By you encouraging that child the first time he or she has done one thing. I remember vividly growing up, Chinedu. Now, when you take someone's pencil, I didn't say money, pencil, or even eraser, mistaking you, no matter how tiny, and it's in your bag, and you get home with it. Oh my God! You'll be praying when you see it. You hide it very well in your bag, and be praying that neither your father, your mother will see that, because the number of canes that you're going to be entertained with that night is part one. If you don't then return it again the next day and come back again mistakenly with it, the part two will follow. And many of us were formed.
That is not even they will continue to repeat it every day.
Yes.
If you are going to school,
If
you go, carry all the people's property and come back.
Yeah, come back.
Africa parents used to tell.
And they will deal with you. Yes, because then we believe that every child is raised up by the community. Okay, that every child is raised up by the community. But these days, if you touch my child as it's going on now, people can take you to anywhere. But then we believe that a child, that now, if you try it, somebody will just take you or kill you even in the process. So nobody wants you to advise or counsel his or her child. Allow them. But when they now become their headache and is looking to kill them, they will now start looking for your face. Please come and help me. When you were talking about the ill the child was taking, or the social vices he or she was involving himself, then they will say, you should not talk to me, leave my child for me. But when it gets so bad, they will now start indulging with you to come and plead or beg, or then be the shorty for him or her to leave jail. And you see, that's exactly where we are. So for me, every family should have, its own rules and regulation and guidelines and help to form these young people, because you cannot give what you don't have. It's a pity that some of our young people who are getting married now, that's why the rate of divorce is even on the increase in Nigeria now. Because they just wake up in the morning, I want to get married. They think that marriage is also part of the things, entitlement. So they come into marriage with another psyche that, see, when I get in there, every other person will obey or respect me. and I will give nothing in return. How can that be possible? Because they've had that entitlement mentality even before getting married or from their homes. So it becomes impossible for them to even to be malleable again, or to be taught, or to even respect anybody around them enough to even indulge productively with them to have things done. So it becomes a very, very, very big problem in society where nobody can correct anybody, and then they grow up not being corrected. So how can they understand what people are passing through? So for them, it's all about them. So they are self-centered, and that's where a very wrong, it's a very, very wrong thing to do. So such parents are such, the issue that we're having this time around, because they don't train their kids very well. Their kids come to school or goes to school, get anything back home. He or she is encouraged to do whatever they want to do. And then when they now become very, very bad in society, they will now turn around and start seeking for emergencies as a way out. Meanwhile, when you were complaining that that child was already misbehaving, they will not listen to you. So as parents, we have our work cut out for us already, because if you don't train them now and be able to make them remain focused, they will really deal with you in your old age. They make sure you retire and die faster than you think. So that's where we have gotten. And for me, every young person out there is a jewel, a precious jewel that we need to, handle with care. So I implore all parents to please spend quality time with your children. As I'm saying this, I'm also talking to myself. Okay. So I'm not saying that I'm a good father or a better husband, but the idea is that we can also be better, we can also improve every day. So just try to spend quality time with your families. Try to know exactly what your children are yearning for, whether it's inappropriate or appropriate, and advise them accordingly. Don't just say, it's the role of the women, it's the role of the man. No, it is our role, because we are in this together. Marriage is for better, for worse. We are in this together. It's not one person's role. It's both of us that must be hands-on to make sure that we form our children well. Because if that's that minutest unit of society, the family, fails, then the entire nation would have failed. That's exactly my concern. Thank you.
Hello, my people. Thank you, Cajethan, for that very deep analysis and explanation of the fundamental unit of the society, which is family. So once the family is good, the society is good. Because what the family breeds is what manifests in the society. So it is a failure on the side of the family that has resulted to a lot of decadence you see today. So thank you for that analysis. Please, I want to use this opportunity to ask our followers if you want to ask questions, those of you on Instagram, those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook. If you have any question, this is the time to come up with a question for Cajethan. Please let us hear from you. If you have a question, please come up with your question for Cajethan. That will be very, very good.
Battery 100%. Connected to Callistasis SQ4 Ultra.
So, opportunity for question. Please question wherever you are. If you want to ask us any question, you can come up before I'll ask him about the book and the launching of the book. That's the next session we're going to. Okay, questions from anybody? We're waiting.
Let's talk our talk. Africa boys in diaspora. Chinedu Anichi TV. Voice of the voiceless. yo. Chinedu Anichi TV. Make we talk our talk yo. Chinedu Anichi TV. Nobody can talk our talk for us yo. Chinedu Anichi TV. Africans arise. Them don't reach you. Make we talk our talk go. Oh yeah, everybody join the Chinedu Anichi TV. No day they happen, no. No day they selling there. We don't talk about my deal. I see being a song, we don't talk about. Mama, brother, sister, even on the YouTube. Subscribe and follow Chinedu Anichi TV. Eba fukona photo, eba fukona man. Now we'll be the voice of Africa in diaspora. Chinedu Anichi TV. Voice of Africa, what they show. Chinedu Anichi TV. Now where we go there. Chinedu Anichi TV. Gather your family, call everybody. Chinedu Anichi TV. Please you want to know.
Yes, so we are grateful for those who are watching and who are asking to come up with their question. But if there's no question, let me go ahead. This time, I have to ask you about the book. But before we go on, can you show our audience your book? The first one, you said you did it when?
1st October 2013.
Wow, that's about 11 years now.
11 years now, yes.
Oh, wow. And the second one is to be launched yet. So
yes.
So what
Tuesday.
What are the readers? What will you? How will I put it? What are we expecting to see as readers? What are we expecting from the book?
It's a very good book, Chinedu. It's a book that every young person, every adult, everybody in the world should have. So you'll be able to learn, from a lot of experiences. I mean, as a child growing up, as a teenager, as well as undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate, even as an employee, as an owner of business, it is just taking everything, sharing experiences with people and experiences of a lot of other people who have actually made it in life through resilience. Because I actually, one of the chapters here is resilience is it, because of some months back or sometime last year, I was one of my final year students. So he asked me a question about something. He was like, sir, I have this small business I started, that what if that business collapses, that he loses so much money? What do you think he should do? Should he seek a redress or should he just take the person out? And I said, come, young man, sit down. And I said he should sit down because I don't discuss such matters standing. I said, sit down. And I said, let me share just one experience with you. And I opened up and I shared just one experience with him that I've had. And I still just kept them somewhere and have moved on in life and still doing a lot of things and still experiencing a lot of other setbacks. He just stood up and said, am I sure this actually has happened to me? I said several times. So that you should not just wake up and say that now you have set up a business, that you are sure tomorrow you are going to be a rich man. No, there are definitely going to be setbacks, whether prepared or unprepared. So I always tell them, expect the unexpected. That's what part of what I teach these young people. Yes, you become a principled entrepreneur, but the same means you must keep your eyes and your ears and all your senses open. Because there are people you trust now, even from your family, who you may never want to talk to when they betray you, when they really deal with you without your good or flourishing small business. So by the time I shared this experience, the guy just said, wait, he's not even ready to start. In fact, that this business is now a headache. I said, no, I will encourage you. I will mentor and coach you and make sure you remain steadfast. But what you will not do for me is to trust or put all your life or all your heart on top of this business, because anything can happen. And the thing that, why I shared that with him is that some years ago, I've had some students who wanted to commit suicide because of one mishap or one misfortune or the other. That's why I went to that extent with him. I said, because I don't want you to also seek to redress issues by taking the laws into your own hands, or to seek the easy way out by chickening out, through suicide mission. And I would rather prefer you know about life ahead of time, that these things can happen. You can have midlife crisis. And when it happens, you must forge ahead. You must learn from what has happened to you, take the lessons from them, and move on, to go, because life is a journey, and continue your journey upwards and not downwards. So that's exactly why I challenge them and make them to understand. So life after school, yes, it's not just a book, like I said earlier. It's an ongoing project which began 5 years, 8 months ago in the Department of Zoology and Environmental Biology within UNN here, and has been ongoing in several departments and faculties. I'll go to final year class and I'm begging them, please, can I just have this class? Can we just do this? Many of them indulged me, and the classes have been holding in their faculties and their departments ever since. But some of them will start playing you, but no problems. Life is that when you throw away what you would have learned today, you only live to regret it tomorrow. And I always share this favorite quote by Alvin Toffler with them. I said, and Alvin Toffler is one of the authors that I read this book, and I was so impressed about it, especially this quote. He says that the illiterates of the 21st century are not going to be those who cannot read nor write, but they are going to be those who cannot learn new things, that's who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And I'll throw it to the young people. I said, which category do you belong to? The people who cannot learn new things or new ways of doing things? Are you unteachable? Is it that learning new things is like a no-go area for you? Then you need to have a rethink too. Or are you among the categories of people who do not want to unlearn bad habits, unlearn some things they don't need, packages, to unburden themselves with some additional packages they don't need in life? Are you among them? Then you need to unbundle those packages you don't need. There are really bad habits you need to drop now. And why? Are you among those that are not willing and interested in relearning, learning or relearning new skills or new things or new ways of doing things? The world is ever evolving. Why stand at a spot and say that I will not grow with what is going on around me? You must learn to move up and be that transformational with what things that are going on around you. So the book is a transformational tool for every young person and every adult out there who are having challenges. It shares a lot of things that you need to know, ranging from the good, those who have been good, to us, to me, to a lot of people, and also some experiences that were a bit ugly, but turn around to become good, which I call the bad. Yes, they were bad experiences, but turned, to become good because of the perspective I saw. It was much of learning and getting experience, and not just bad as it was. And then the unemployed rate, talking about the issue that at once, or some years in my life, I was unemployed, and so many of us, or so many of my friends were, but we chose the right path. We never dived into social vices. We had to do things right. We have to choose the right path. We have to just have this desire to keep up doing what we're doing the right way. So the book is a transformational tool. And at every chapter, after reading every chapter, you have an exercise that you must perform and send back to me, so that we can also have one-on-one, either a chat or via email, so you'll be able to properly internalize each of the chapters as you read them. So it's not a normal book that you just wake up, I want to fling through this book today. No. After every chapter, you reflect on how that chapter, how you have maybe in your lifetime or so much years you've spent, and have found yourself in that situation or in similar situations, or had someone else share the experience. So life after school, lessons from the good, the bad, and the unemployed, is a book to have in your bookshelf. Please, not just in your bookshelf so that you gather dust there. No. I mean on your table, center table, where your kids will keep on reading, adults will read, even donated to school libraries. Yes, you can pay us and we'll take this book to any of your alma mater schools and donate them willingly to the schools on your behalf for the school libraries, and be able to raise the needed funds to build our transformational center, where these students can have access to vacation jobs as well as other skills they will get. And you know what that means. Once one center is done, I tell you, the rest will be history. The rest will be replicated around several communities by God's grace. So we need people to pick as many copies as possible, because that will help us to be able to generate the needed funds that we need to build this project that we hope will become legacies we are leaving for the future generation when we are gone.
All right. Thank you for this. Yeah, thank you, Cajethan, for this. Virtually, we are putting an hour and some minutes already. So, and I appreciate your comment. And before we draw the curtain finally today, from the little experience you have had and encounter with the Chinedu Anichi TV, what will you tell the world here about Chinedu Anichi TV?
It's mind blowing what you are doing out there. And to be honest, I'm really, really very, very impressed and so, so humbled by this opportunity that you granted me. I'm so, so happy and will forever remember and cherish it. Because not everybody will understand the need, you understand, to share this opportunity, with people who really care for the young people. So thank you for giving us the opportunity, to be on your show, to share what we have been keeping. Because Code Story is a story that I want to really share with the world this time around. I will no longer keep it under the carpet. Code needs to be known. Because even while writing Code's emblem and mission and vision as far back as 2004, I also saw Code as an international organization. And that's where we're going to be very soon. And thank you for giving us that platform, that enabling platform to talk to our friends and our relations, those known and who don't know in diaspora, as well as, around Nigeria and some African countries. I'm really very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. I just want to tell you on our own side why this platform. This platform you see is Chinua Achebe of the blessed memory, one of our great novelists and legend. He said that if an outsider tells your story, the story will not end without prejudice, because the outsider does not know how the people feel. You understand? So
Yes.
a lot of people have made movies about African people. People have written things about Africans, Asians, Americans, Europeans, different people, Arabs, Arab people have written things, made movies about Africa. But this time, just like Chinua Achebe advised, that the best thing is for you to tell your own story, talk your own talk. If you heard our jingle, we say it is the time for Africans to talk their own talk. So this platform is not a platform where they discuss all kinds of things you see in social media. This is a platform whereby the voice of Africans are heard. And voice of Africans are heard in positivity. Our best, we showcase our best. We contradict the let me tell you, there's a kind of conception, negative conception of Africa. There was a time I met with one of my guys and I told him we went somewhere and I saw a lion. I would say, this is the first time I'm seeing lion. He said, what? That he was thinking, an American, that lions are everywhere in Africa. So this is the first time I'm seeing live lion. I've been seeing live maybe on movies, on films, and all these things. But this is the time I came close to a live lion like this. I said, that was their understanding in America is that, in fact, lion is everywhere at our backyard, is everywhere in Africa. So this platform will project what we are saying. This platform will bring Africa in its originality, in its authenticity. And that is what you have enjoyed tonight. The reality of what you're doing has come to be. And we believe that our very, very industrious and capable followers will share what we are saying today. Vivian Chinedu Anichi, you are welcome. Thank you. So What we're saying is that you have come to the African voice in diaspora and your voice is heard. This is just the beginning. So I want you to use this opportunity, give a shout out to whoever you want, and then tell um, our great audience the day you'll be launching your book, the venue, and all what's not.
Okay, thank you, Chinedu, once more for that time. Actually, the book launch Life After School will be on Tuesday, 29th of October, 2024. The venue for the launch is Princess Alexandria Auditorium at University of Nigeria in Soka. And then the time we're going to start is 10 a.m. All things being equal and by God's grace, yes. So I'm indulging every one of us. So please send your relations, send your friends, come and support us and be there, if you can in person for us to celebrate ourselves. Because actually, like I said, Life After School is an ongoing project. It's a legacy or legacies we hope to leave for our younger generation. So be part of the movement, be part of the Coast family. I don't want you to sit on the fence and say something ill about your country. I rather prefer we all doing something positive, no matter how small. Please learn to contribute to your quota, no matter how small, to building a better and stronger and healthier Nigeria. That is what I believe in. Nigeria is the only country we have, and we have to make it stronger and better for our children and our many generations to come. Yes, that's our duty. Like Chinedu Anichi once said, and I quote, he said that Nigeria is not a country where you wake up and you ask, what do I do now? And Nigeria has work for everybody. And I tell you, I have my work to do, and which is good, I've been doing. You listening to me, you watching me, also have your job to do too. So let's all come together on that platform on Tuesday, 28th October, and share our burdens, and as doing interactive session, just unburden yourself of all those longings and things and give for us to project this project and make sure it's achievable in our lifetime. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderfully. Who inspires you? Or who inspired you?
This is the second time I'm getting this question. It's amazing to know that the first man actually asked me this question did that 2006, 18 years ago. You'll be amazed. 2 years into the NGO project, I stumbled on Mr. Onowa, Frank Joseph. I don't know if he's on the show tonight, watching me. And I can't remember the occasion where we met in Lagos, but I knew that he invited me over to his office and said he runs a magazine, an online magazine, Momentum. Then it was in print, Momentum CSR, an organization that focuses on the corporate social responsibility of organizations and what they do. So it was looking at change agents anywhere. So when I met him and I kind of passionately shared Cold Story to him and dreams, he felt he should indulge me for an interview. And he invited me over to his office off Bode Thomas in Lagos. And when I came to his office, while we were interacting, this was among the first questions he asked me. He looked at me, how passionately I was talking, and he said, young man, who inspired you or who have ever inspired you? To be very frank with you, Chinedu, I never really knew how my maternal grandmother, late Madame Rose Edoga, inspired me until that day. That was how her name fell off from my lips, even without thinking about it. And I said, it's my grandmother. And he now said, what exactly did she do or how did she inspire you? If I start to extol her virtues on this show, will not close here. My grandmother is somebody that, no matter who you are, if she say, night is your time, I want to talk to you. Whatever you've achieved in life, whether you're a professor, double professor, triple professor, if you sit down and she calls your name from beginning to the end, that she wants to talk to you, she will remind you how you were a baby, how she nursed as a baby, and make sure before you became by the time she reminds you who you were as a child, as a toddler, up to your rank as whatever professorship you have gotten, you will be humbled enough. And most times you enter her room like penitents, people that have regretted all their evil actions. You confess first to yourself before you enter inside. By the time she's done with you and you're coming out, you will have shed tears uncountable times inside that room. Not crocodile tears, real tears this time. And she's one woman that does not play with God. She built all her foundation trusting God, and God never left her until she passed on somewhere in 2018. She was a woman that dedicated her life to God and service to humanity. She also founded a women organization known as Ako Charity Women Organization that has been existing for over something years now. I think six something, if not something years with you. So, I mean, she's an embodiment of knowledge. Yes, not so well in school, but she knows a lot. She's like a calabash of wisdom for me. And she made sure she put me through. Let me share this experience that she taught me as growing up, when we used to come for holidays in Nsukka to spend time with her. One of the holidays, or when I was in my SS1, because after my dad died some years after, we moved to Nsukka to live alongside, near her.
You know,
She.
I know
Yeah.
where you're doing this.
Yeah. So and they now asked me to go and take lunch to my uncle in the shop at Udenibu roundabout. And I looked at myself, I said, what? Can you imagine? My little cousin came to send that errand to me, that my aunt said I should come and carry food for my uncle in the shop at Udenibu roundabout. I felt so insulted. I said, don't they know I'm a big boy? Now, I started wearing trousers now. I mean, big boys, no they easy. So I just started wearing trousers to school. So, and I chased that young chap away from my side, and I thought the whole story has ended. Usually every night before we eat dinner, from 7 p.m., my grandma will ring a bell, or one of us will ring the bell. Then we'll all gather in her compound, and say night prayers, the rosary and other prayers. Then before different families or we go for our dinner. Now, when we were done with the prayers, I was set to rush to the kitchen for my dinner. When my grandma called me, she doesn't call my English name. My grandma calls your Igbo name from beginning to the end. That's where trouble there. So she now said, Chide Bem. Yeah? I said, okay, it's just for her to ask a question and leave me. By now I got to her side in her sitting room. She said I should sit down. I knew there was trouble. My mind was now going berserk. What exactly did I do? What exactly did I do wrong? What have I done wrong the past month, last 2 months? You keep on recounting. When she now just smiled and said, young man, I heard that during the day, they asked you to come and send food to your uncle in the shop and you refused. I tried to defend. She said, no need. Calm down. I calmed down. She now said, okay, you know what? What are you trying to go and do now? I said, I want to go and eat. She said, hey, during the day, you refuse to give somebody a meal. But right now, you want to rush and get another meal. How does that work? That she wants me, no arguments. She doesn't have time for that tonight. She wants me to do just 2 things for her. That I should go ease myself and go to bed. Chinedu, believe it or not, it was my best meal that was prepared that night, beans porridge. I nearly died. I was crying on my bed till I slept off because I could not understand how my stupidity earned me that kind of misery that night. That I missed my good plate of beans porridge. But that was how my grandmother taught me. Lesson remained with me that every time, even if I can joke with anybody, I do not cross that line because I know just as I feel pains, that other people also do feel pains. So she taught me that, and she has always been my mentor, and a lot of other things she taught me in life. You understand? Also, my mom has also been doing hers even as we speak up to this age. So she has been so influential in my life that these two women, and I don't know what I could have done without both of them. They were so instrumental in forming a lot of us to remain steadfast on God and making sure that whatever we are doing it with so much integrity. I know that Eziafa can go anytime, any day. So those are the things. So she is my own, inspired leader anytime, any day, anywhere. But she has all those qualities, everything you can think about a servant leader. That's what my grandma has. And she's willing to serve anybody to make sure you are healthy and better as you met her, or more than you met her, yes.
Wow. May her soul rest in peace and
Amen.
for leaving wonderful legacies behind. So, okay. Give a shout out to whoever you want to do and we'll close.
Okay, I give a shout out to my friends, code volunteers. I hope they are here, that some of them are here listening. And also all my friends and volunteers, my campaign team people for the book launch, my siblings, my brother Obiora, and my in-laws, Chinyere, Linda, Ijoma, Ononchi, everybody, Ogo, and all my children, my nephews, my nieces, I give that shout out to them. And a lot of the estranged in society. If you're out there and you're unemployed, please do not lose hope. Please, we are still available, and very soon we hope to indulge you and help find out how we can help you or work with you to make sure you don't remain the way you are. Please hang on. Okay, for many people who are about losing hope, it's time to pick up a copy of Life After School. It will tell you that God has not finished with you yet. There is still a project, there's still something He wants you to do for Him. So why take the easy way out? You are not done yet. He's still around. You are healthy, you are alive. That means there's still work to be done. So please, I give my shout out to everyone who have listened tonight, and even to many young people out there who may not have heard or listened tonight. I'm very, very happy to be doing what I'm doing. And I pray to God that we'll be able to achieve this project in our lifetime for many generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Very seriously, I want to ask all the shout out you've given. You didn't give shout out to your wife. Is he not supporting the organization?
Yeah?
You didn't give a shout out to your wife.
I did. I said a shout out. Okay,
No,
okay.
I can play this. I can play this show again. This is a TV. This is not a social media. I can repeat it now as we're talking now. I can play what we just see. What you just say. Let me take it that it is, familiarity, because both of you are one. So you didn't really.
Please let me say shout out to my darling wife, Ogochukwu Geraldine Ezora. No, she has been so, so wonderful. Please, she is very dear to me. And all my children, like I said earlier, I don't want to call their names here, but they have been so, so lovely, and they have been very, very encouraging. At least they understand. Sometimes daddy shouts and kind of, corrects is very important at that particular point in time. Like I said, I'm also an ongoing project, because you can still be a better father and you can still be a better husband. So that's exactly how I see it. I don't see myself as being a perfect person. Okay. So thank you to my darling wife, to my siblings, to my family, everyone. I'm so, so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Cajethan. Thank you for coming. I thank everybody from Ezeora. Thank you, Vivian Chinyere Okolo Ezeora, Omega King, Obono Okolo, Tambare Fuala, Jude Gabriel. A lot of you I don't have to mention on your name. Tobias Onuzi, President Stoba 94, was here live. Eze Sebastian Chukwugeku. A lot of people in Fanyugu. I can't mention people's name. They are all much. Eze Emmanuel Ejike. And if we go to Instagram, the same thing. I have a lot of people. Ice, KC Official, Oli, One DFX, Mechumona, Sammy Interior, VP Boaz, Emeka Father, Lipatas 196, Official Boogie Bounce, and okay, Selem on the sky. Selem, how are you doing? So all of you are here today just to watch Chinedu Anichi TV and listen to this wonderful epitome of God's wisdom, channel of grace, and ATM of consolatory message to the young people in Nigeria. So thank you, Cajethan. We pray that Nigeria will have more people like you, and so shall it be in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So, my people, we'll be rounding off. Remember to on the 29th. Remember for those of you who are around Suka or you can travel. So, also, I'm going to post the email, the link. I'm going to post the link of their email or website and all this thing to back up this show and all social media. So, try to link up. And if you have anything to contribute, I know many of you will reach out to me. And for those of you who will be watching offline, please try and support this young man. You listen to him, you will see that he knows what he's doing. And our reward principle should be positive so that we can consolidate and sustain the continuity of people who have intention to do good. I think this I think this thing is trying to be synonymous in Nigeria with people who are black. This is another the very black man or the very dark man. You know, people are trying to do good in Nigeria, but all of them are just black, black, black. The very black man and another black Cajethan Ezeora. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too. God bless you too.
So thank you, Cajethan. My people, you have seen today, Cajethan wonderfully presented is what he has been doing from childhood, his passion, and I encourage other people to follow suit. If you know what God has called you for, please go ahead and do it. It's not just about the money, but about the satisfaction. If you look at this young man, you see that he has a ministry in what he's doing, and God has not abandoned him. So we can support him by encouragement, financially, and even by sharing this message. Let other people listen to you. You might not have anything to offer financially, but some other person can listen to what you shared and decide to offer. So it's a network that will not allow to end in your own table. He has done his own best. Let's support him. It's worth supporting. And for those instances, now I'm going to call no one skip the card more than in cash. But those who get tofe, one second the card more na job and tea. You know what? Ya bụ onye ha n'ebe a na-present asụ oyibo ọganaga na ka n'ọnụ were anyị ji emedega anyị ji ebido onwe anyị Chineke ji akpọgbu n'onwe anyị n'obi ọhụụ bụ mba biko ebere onye sị ka mgbe nọ n'igbo sị ka unu cheta ka unu sọpọta Cajethan Ezeora ndị nọ na-esi ka unu kwajegide 29th unu jegide na Princess Alexandra Auditorium na University of Nigeria unu je mgbe unu sọpọta atatere ego sitete ọ bụghị ego nsọpụta n'ụkatadị ntị mmadụ maka dị akwụkwọ asịrị obere azị kpata obere nka nnukwu azị kpata nnukwu nka mụnụbụ ndị big man ndị ọgam ụmụmana ha na wọchị ya biko na-enwere nwanne anyị o dere akwụkwọ ya na-eme ihe dọghị. Feel free to listen to him. If you want to reach to him, you can reach me and I will connect you. Sir. God bless you. Remember, humanity is at the center of what we do. We are here to make sure we sustain and consolidate the continuity of the survival of the human species through every means. Cajethan is doing his own in his own dimension. I'm doing my own in the media. What are you doing? God bless you. I love you.
God bless you too.
All right.